here and give you guys a little story time. So we've been doing this thing a little bit lately these past few days. It's been going on about a week now, so we're gonna keep it going. I'm gonna slow down a little bit in this one, and let's see. I kind of mentioned part of this the other night when I was doing the gang story, and I mentioned this, but I was thinking about it later on that night, and I was like, you know what? Let's actually get into detail about it. So let's wait a few minutes here, get some people going on in here. Y'all already know what the vibe is. We in my yard right now. There ain't really no grass, but we do got trees. We got trees. So that's the neighbor's tree. These big black flies like to fly under it. And I sent a picture to chat to see what kind of fly it is. I forgot the name, but I guess they bite. They look like a flying beetle. They're big and fat, black flies. And I guess they bite. So they don't come out at night, but they love being on those little yellow flowers. So it's just something to, if you ever move to Florida, keep an eye out for. They fly around trees like that. So maybe like, well, that one doesn't have the flowers, so they like flowers. I never seen him till he moved in and put that tree in there. So chill today, took a rest day. It's been raining pretty much all day. Cleared up a couple hours ago. He's gonna head to the park, but I'm like, let's take a rest day. We'll just go hard tomorrow, you know. Hit the pull-ups, the dips, the push-ups, all that good stuff. So, basically, I wanted to title this "The Drop," and I mentioned in the gang story, you know, Wolf, the one with the demons on his head, the demon horns, and he was orchestrating something with the guy who was leading the Zoes. This black dude, covered in face tattoos, a little short dude, but just, you know, pretty athletic looking. Not like jacked, but you know what I mean. And Dave, you know, the guy that I mentioned who was paying off Bowman, the young officer, you know, they didn't want nothing to do with this. You know, Bowman said, like, the cigarettes as far as it's going to go, you know. He'll let you get, you know, your hygiene dropped off if you want to get real toothpaste, if you want to get real deodorant, you know, or body spray, whatever, you know, real toothbrushes. You don't get real toothbrushes in prison. So if you want to get like real toothbrushes dropped off, you know, he was cool with that. And if, you know, you wanted to pay him the 300 something a week, he'll stash all your cigarettes. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, Bullseye. That's what we're aiming for. So this is the route we're going right now. But you know, so once Bowman said no, Dave said no, and Wolf did it behind his back. He orchestrated the whole drop with the Zoe, and that's when it started getting ugly. So basically, what happened was, you know, Wolf gets the drop. Apparently, you know, me and him, we talked about it later on. He got it in the woods. Thank you, Maddox. I appreciate that. I know Jesus loves me. I love Jesus too. So remember when I was saying Wolf had this everything in his legs? You know, it was just, it was like 20 packs of cigarettes. They were all bombed up individually into like 2 or 3 packs at a time. So there was like 10 bombs of those. There was like a pound of, I gotta be careful. You guys gotta remember, I already got my rights taken away and I just got them back. So I gotta watch what I say here. But he had a bunch of stuff. They called it mop, you know. So they had all that. They had, uh, they just basically, you get one of your peoples to drop like whatever you're trying to get into the wooded area that we go and weed eat and mow, and one of them goes and picks it up. And that's what Wolf did. And it made things really difficult, you know. I mean, they had... Bowman didn't really find out about it. None of the officers really found out about it, but it was the fact that that dude Country that I mentioned in the last one, he got caught with the 5 ounces. You know, he put him up his butt. That's what made everything high. You know, so I'm assuming what happened was the drop was coordinated. Wolf was on a zero-turn mower, so there's parts like where the officers aren't looking. They just hang out in their vans and the trucks, especially during the summertime when it's really hot. And Wolf got the coordinates, went and picked it up, and next thing you know, we're all back at the shop, and everyone's just, you know, watching the bathroom. Someone's in the bathroom, and that's just how it goes. My day's going good. How's your day going? And I'm trying to remember the other officer. She worked for Pride. Like, her job was to watch everyone at Pride, right? You know, they would get drops of like a bunch of weed and all that types of stuff, but she pretty much was good at catching all that. You know, this was like our drop, you know what I mean? I was never around for all the cigarette drops. Dave always got always got dropped off like a couple cartons every week, you know, because he had his carton that he went through by himself, and then he'd sell another carton and send the money back to his girlfriend. She'd do it again, you know what I mean? And he was making hundreds of dollars off of that alone, so he could just pay the officer, you know what I mean? Because people are just going to send money to your Cash App. You know, they're going to get on the phone with their people. Hey, Cash App this person. Boom, boom, boom. Send them 30, send them 50. You know, pack of cigarettes goes like $50. You're going to make 500 off a carton alone. You know what I mean? Excuse me. And then you just send the officer 300. So everybody makes a little bit of something. It's worth everybody's time. But this is an ounce of dope in prison. Just 1 ounce is like $500. Might be like 200-300 on the street. It's 500 or 600 in prison, and when you break it down, a cap goes for $50. So that's like $1,500, maybe $1,400 for 1 ounce. So when you get caught, when Country got caught with 5 ounces, he probably got caught with like $6,000 worth of stuff. If you really wanted to break it down, at least $2,500, and in real-time money, probably $1,800, you know, $1,600. I'm assuming the guy was getting in large amounts at a time, so he was getting a wholesale discount, but that's a lot of money, you know, and it started a big problem. But that was just pretty much the biggest one I ever seen. Everything's already pre-packaged, you know. Everything's already pre-packaged. You know, if you want your people to drop off stuff, I've even seen body cam videos, you know, everything's already wrapped, everything's already, you know what I mean? Oh boy, the neighbors are back. Come on, Bayla, we can't go in their house. She likes to go in my neighbor's house. Come on, baby. And it was just a matter of fact of getting it into the prison. How you doing? Oh, you're in the car. Oh, jeez. I didn't know y'all were in the car. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to creep up on you.
That's okay.
How you doing?
You got your haircut.
Yeah, I cut it off the other day.
You did. Hello
Yeah.
there, buddy. What are you doing?
Would you have to take him to the hospital again? What happened?
We went. No, well, did we go to the hospital?
Hey,
No.
you were gone for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Maybe the first day we went, but yesterday we spent a night in the hotel.
Ooh.
But there was something was going on that we had to go to.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I can't remember. Now, we did because we had so many things that we were having to comply with.
All right. See you next time.
asking.
Yeah.
Where we
Honey, I'm gonna take a walk. I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk down the street.
Okay, well, listen, do not go anywhere,
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm just freaking out.
honey, listen. Do not go anywhere near either of those houses because you're going to go to the water tomorrow. And you don't want to fuck it up. Do ya?
Yeah, your recovery phone was changed to her number.
Hmm?
Oh, wait, no, it's
You
fine.
leave everything alone there because somebody took your identity, put their identity in your account. You can't fool with it because then you're going to mess it up and then they can't be charged. Now, do you want to do that? You don't want to do that, do you?
We wanted to know that you'll no longer be able to use Visa to send money from your Venmo accounts. I don't have a Venmo account.
Listen, you cannot remove that.
Hold on, chat. I don't know what I just walked into. Oh, Babe, I almost just fell. Come on. Come on, baby. Stop trying to go in the house. It's not our house. My bad, chat. Hold on here. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. Come on. I got a dog fighting with me. I'm trying to get her out of here. Come on, baby. Stop trying to go in the house. Come on. Come on. Get out of there. Stay in the yard. Yeah, it was just kind of, my bad. It was just a little crazy. You know, I never really seen stuff like that before. Huh? I'm just letting her go wherever. I don't know. But, yeah, you know. It's my number one thing was I didn't want to get in no trouble because that was part of my work squad, you know, especially when country got caught up with all the stuff. And, you know, because I didn't even have anything. I didn't try to bring nothing in, you know, so I just didn't want them putting me in a cell because they literally made country sit in a one-man cell outside until he decided to poop in a bucket, you know. Luckily, they didn't get the whole drop, so I'm sure, you know, he was still fine and made his money and whatnot, the Zoe or whatever. But I believe part of the problem was that since Country got caught with 5 ounces, Wolf didn't get the full payment that he was trying to get because Wolf was orchestrating the drop for the Zoe so he could get a good chunk. He was supposed to get like a good amount of the stuff, like 20%, 25% of the stuff. And since that amount, if not more, already got caught, I don't even think that was a quarter of it. I think they had like 2 pounds. It was already, you know, the Zoe was trying to like not give Wolf that much of a cut, you know, because it was his people that got caught. And Wolf was all like, well, you know, that wasn't me that got caught, but it was nonetheless, it wasn't you. Yeah, but it was your people. And, you know, you had your homeboy that's in your gang. You had your homeboy hold some of the stuff, and then he got caught with it, you know. So that kind of looked real bad on Wolf on trying to get his cut. I actually made something off of that too, because I just kind of like, you know, I was like the watchman out of all that, you know. I wasn't, I'm not bringing nothing in. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I already got my own hustle, you know, that I didn't never even got caught doing, you know what I mean, one time. And that wasn't part of my hustle. It was just a separate thing. So me being like the watch guy while everyone else is like trying to shove stuff up their butt, you know, obviously I'm not getting a big cut, but I'm making cigarettes off of it, you know what I mean? I'm not messing with the other stuff. I just wanted what I'm supposed to get paid. It was a half a pack of cigarettes just to watch, not do anything but watch. I was gonna get a half a pack of cigarettes, which is $25 when you're in there at the time. How y'all doing? And everyone else, I just made sure that no officers were coming near the bathroom. I'm pretty sure Country got caught because he was like walking funny. Imagine putting 5 ounces up your butt. You know, that's you're gonna walk funny, bro. Like, you're not gonna walk normal with, I don't care how good you seal the stuff, I don't care what it is, you're gonna be walking with like a weird, you know, you ever heard the term, like, you look like you got a broomstick up your, you know what I mean? That's what you're walking like when you're putting stuff up your butt like that. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen, you know, I could tell if someone, you know, and they're not a professional and they're overdoing it and they're trying to walk into the gate. They're walking like, you know, they're walking funny. I can't really show y'all on camera, but it's just a very stiff, tight walk. You know when someone's bringing stuff in. So I'm pretty sure the officer like knew what Country was up to, and he had to pull him to the side, man. It was a big loss. The Zoe and the GD almost fought over that. And I don't believe it was because of that they almost fought. It was because Wolf still wanted a full cut, and he had to take an L over that, or he had, you know what I mean? And I feel like in that type of situation, when you're not going to get paid what you were supposed to get paid because one of your boys messed up, you know, it kind of is what it is, bro, because think about it. If you fight the guy that's paying you, more than less, he's not going to pay you anything, right? So you kind of just have to take your L, and it is what it is. I believe Wolf undid one of the bombs, and, you know, we don't have scales, you know what I mean? So he just kind of like, I don't know. Either eyeballed it or he probably took a cap, and a cap is usually a gram. But he just it's like 0.1 or 2 under a gram. You should get 30 caps out of an ounce. It should be 0.1 under a gram. And I'm assuming he just capped out all his stuff or whatever, and that's what started the beef. But yeah, man. I got some stories. I got a few more ideas for some stories, but nothing too crazy happened at the work camp. You know, a lot of fights. A lot of fights happened. I was in 13 fights, and most of my fights was when I first got to prison, so I wasn't really like working out or nothing yet. And I got beat up a good few times. I won some now too, don't get me wrong, but I got beat up a few times. And you're going to beef over stupid stuff in prison because these people are angry, they're mad, they're doing time. They might be addicted to cigarettes and they haven't had a cigarette all day, so they're freaking out, or they ain't had nothing in their locker, they're addicted to coffee, they ain't had no caffeine yet. So these people just be getting mad over everything. And it is what it is. Yeah, I usually made a few cigarettes every day. And that was just because I always had Dave cigarettes. So whenever Dave wanted a cigarette, you know, all I had to do was roll us both up one, and we both had a cigarette. We was good. Then I'd trade. I kept one cigarette to myself. I'd break it down into like 4 pieces, and that would last me all day. Plus, Dave would always give me a cigarette in the morning and then a cigarette before we went back to the camp. And I'm not even counting those, so really 5 cigarettes a day. And I traded the other 2, you know. I'd share the ones that Dave gave me with the guys who didn't have nothing. And the other 2 I would trade for food. So that was about like $6, $7 of food, $6, $8 of food, depending on the day, depending on how many cigarettes are going around, depending if I clipped it out or did I just trade a whole cigarette, you know what I mean? Because you could bust down a clip. You can get a cigarette for $5 or $6, but you could just do the clip for $2, you know? And then easy stuff, man, easy stuff. There's always going to be temptation when you go into prison too, because people knew I always had cigarettes, so they always asked me if I wanted to smoke and they could put something in it, and I'm like, no. So if you're always the cigarette guy, it's real easy to fall into, if you're an addict, to falling into smoking stuff. But I already know how that goes. You're always going to be chasing something, so it's not worth, okay, yeah, I'll smoke a cigarette with you, and then someone else paints the cigarette, and you're just going to be left fiending anyways. It's just a constant. I see how these people move around. It's just a constant chase of wanting to smoke more. So that ain't worth it. That ain't worth it. My bunkie and then my neighbor were always smoking mop, non-stop. And that was real annoying because I could always smell it all the time, And they were always smoking that stuff, man. It's real crazy. And I guess they smoke it because they could still pass their drug test, but bro, like, it turns people out, man. It's like the new crack. It's like prison crack. That's what it is, But the only difference is instead of lasting for 15 minutes, it lasts for like 2 minutes because these people are rolling up back to back to back to back to back. They ain't stopping. They just want more. It's real sad, man. I feel bad for them. The K2 comes in legal work. I forgot about that. When people are bringing in K2, they spray this chemical on paper. And what people will do is they'll have, because the one thing that officers don't check, and they might look at it, but it's your legal work, your legal paperwork. So like if you get stuff from lawyers and something coming in, so what people will do, they'll have like their girlfriends or their people outside on the streets mail in professional looking paperwork with like lawyer notes and all types of stuff on it, but the whole time the paper's been sprayed with a chemical, and that chemical, once it gets broken up and put inside of a cigarette with tobacco, they could smoke it. It's real crazy. So, and they make it look real good. Like they'll type out all types of crazy stuff. But that's not what, it's not. If people get paperwork sent in, sometimes it's real, but sometimes it's not real. It's just fake paperwork, all typed out and printed out to look professional, but it's been sprayed and dried out with that K2 spray the whole entire time. So a real easy lick is to have, what you could do two things. You can have the K2 spray on your paperwork, or you can have someone open up a bunch of Suboxone strips and just kind of wet them and attach them to random pieces of paper, like a random piece of paper inside of the paperwork. So you could get like 50 pieces of paper, all with all types of stuff printed out, typed out on it, making it look professional, have it in your name and all that. But one of those pieces of paper has a whole script of Suboxone strips attached to it the entire time. And, they ain't going to find that. The officers can look through your paperwork and they'll pull out, whatever, but they're not really like looking like that, They got to search through 100 people in that dorm, and then 100 people in another dorm, and another dorm, and another dorm, and so on. They're not really like looking like that. But I would say the easiest way to make money is do some research. Like if you're going to prison, it's to get into that K2 game, man. And I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. I don't promote it by any ways. I don't promote it. I don't think it's a good idea, but if you're trying to make a quick buck, get into the paperwork game. And you could buy these sprays online. You can either go the dark web route, which I don't support, or you could find legal sprays that still do the same thing. They just change the chemical structure a bit and find them on websites, man. It's an easy game. but it's just I don't recommend none of that stuff, man. You get caught, it's contraband into a prison. Holy, that's like an automatic at least 5 years, And now you're trafficking a narcotic or a substance at the same time. You just add some more years onto it. And if you already have a record, so is making that quick cash worth a potential 10, 15-year bid? That's what you got to ask yourself, and that's why I don't do stuff like that. So I wouldn't recommend it to you guys either. There's a lot of ways to make money in prison, and even if you're not in prison, you can make money from prisoners, but it involves a very high risk. It involves a very high risk. And you got like whoever did the drop, they dropped off that bag, and it was all in like a black garbage bag. He just tore it open, put everything inside his pant leg and inside of his socks, and brought it all back to our little work area. That person could have got caught because the wooded area is still part of the DOC property. So if that person got caught dropping that bag in the woods, that's trafficking narcotics, because there was a substance and a high amount in there. All those cigarettes, and they put the cigarettes were pre-wrapped, so you can get a charge if the cigarettes are already bombed up, ready to go, and then being next to a DOC, like next to a prison camp, you can get charged for that too. So, it's a real crazy world. Yeah, I figured I was going to go more detail in that story, but I went to my neighbor's house, and I didn't know they were even in the car. My dog's smelling the car the whole time, so I'm just like real alert, you know what I'm saying? And this lady's talking about someone doing some fraud in her name and cashed out her Venmo account. She never made a Venmo account. It's actually her roommate. She told me about it already. And her roommate's addicted to drugs and has been doing like fraudulent stuff in her name the entire time, cashing out and borrowing money from cash apps and all this and that, and made a card in her name. And she's already tried to get the cops involved, but somehow didn't have proof to entail that it was her, because she didn't have like a way to prove excuse me, that it was her. And so maybe she just thinks that it was her roommate. I don't know. But there was a bunch of cop cars over there where we were just at the other day, and no one got arrested, so I don't know, chat. So that was, like I said, that was my fault. I was being a little nosy. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. But I know I didn't make a video today, so I had to at least hop on with you guys today. I want to keep doing these, even if it ain't always exciting, I want to at least hop on with you guys and say what's up and maybe tell a little story. It wasn't, that's why I just called it the drop. It wasn't like this big, giant drop. I mean, a pound or two of dope is one thing, and then 20 packs of cigarettes, I guess that's one thing. But that happens to prisons every week, A prison is going to get a drop like that, no matter what prison you're at. Any prison is going to get a drop like that every week. That was just my first time actually seeing a drop, And I didn't see the drop go down. I just seen the drop get collected, So, but when you're in a situation like that, you got to stand strong too now, because God, you can't go be the good guy. Come here, baby, get up here. You can't be Mr. Good Guy and be a Mr. Snitch either. You didn't snitch when you went to prison, so don't start snitching when you're in prison either. I know people want to change their lives and everything, but you can't go run around and start telling either, because that's going to get you killed. You got to be smart when you're in there. There's being a hero when someone's dying of like a drug overdose, and then there's being stupid by telling on someone or ruining a drop for somebody, you know what I mean? You can be a man of God all you want, but it's going to put you to the test when you want to be Mr. Officer in prison too now. So if any of you, you know what I'm saying, I hope that none of you ever go to prison, but if you ever encounter a drop or something like that, just keep your mouth shut. Don't go be Mr. Save the World now, because you ain't saving nothing. You're putting yourself at harm's risk, and people are going to kill you over thousands of dollars in a place like that. They don't care. They got nothing to lose. They're already doing 15, 20-year bids, if not life. So they got to make their money to eat and survive. And you got to remember, too, if you ever get in trouble like that, prisoners run the prison. You know, the officers are just there and get paid. And once in a while, they tase somebody and put them in handcuffs and put them somewhere else. You know, that's all the officers do. And they do roster counts and make sure that people are there. You know, them officers ain't going to save you, bro. I promise you, they don't care about you. They want to get a paycheck and go home. That's it. They ain't even trying to get involved in stuff. I've seen plenty of fights go down in the dorm and the officers watching. They don't care. They're not police officers. They're correctional officers. They're not real cops. They're not really trying to save lives. They don't care. So always remember that too if you ever go to prison. They ain't gonna save you. So, what's everyone in the chat doing, man? What y'all boys doing? Is that Miss Kitty over there? Oh my goodness. Hi. Ah. Hi. Nope, that's a different cat. Oh, there you are. There you are. Hi, Miss Kitty. Oh my goodness, I thought the other cat was you. You were already here laying down for me. Hi. Hi. Pretty kitties. You're so pretty. Oh my goodness. Hi. This cat waits here for me so I can pet it. I just hate how it lays in the street. That's my dog right there. That's Bela. Oh my goodness. Nice. I don't want to put the camera on your face. I don't want to put the camera on your face. No, I don't. Oh my goodness. Hi. You're so pretty. Where's my doggy? I didn't know I could put flash on in the chat. Yeah, we're definitely gonna start doing this. I really don't want a flash in my face, but I got you guys. I got you guys. It's kind of blinding my eye a little bit, but I got you guys. Yeah, I would have been doing this a while ago if I'd known we could have did that. None of you guys told me. Oh, that's bright. That's bright. Ah. Good. I'm glad I learned that we can do the flash camera. That actually makes nighttime videos a lot better. So y'all already know what's going on. We done told the story, so if y'all want to hear the story, you got to rewind from the beginning. So we just chilling right now. Yeah, I wanted to work out today, but it was rainy all day. And then next thing you know, it doesn't clear up till like 6 o'clock, like 5:30ish. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to the park this late, man. We were just eating dinner by 6, and we didn't get done and cleaned up till like 6:30. I'm like, man, I still got to shower and stuff. No way. No way, Jose. So we're going to go hard tomorrow. I might bring y'all in the workout with me tomorrow. And we're going to do some pull-ups, some dips, and we're doing push-ups. We're doing all three since we didn't do nothing today. I might go knock out 100 push-ups. I'm not going to lie to you, but we're going to do all three of those tomorrow. So, yeah. It's getting pretty late. I think it's like 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's like 9 o'clock. She likes to, if anyone's new here, she likes to come over to this house and get treats. The guy who lives here, he'll give her like dog treats and stuff. Dang, I wish I knew I could have put my flash on a while back. That would have really saved us in this in these nighttime videos. Come on, Bela. Come on. You need to come get out of there. You need to go and get... That's the cat food. You ain't getting that. There's a bull right there, right behind that Mustang. And it's got cat food in it. She likes to eat it. Come on, baby. Come on. I really don't want to walk you all the way down here again, but I will. Come on. Come on. I see there's one street light and then one down there. There ain't no street lights on this road. You don't realize how good you have it in the free world until you do a bid. You know, every time I go to jail, I would just be excited to get out of jail and go hang with the same people doing the same thing. I just wanted to see what that noise was. I'd be excited to go hang out with the same stupid people that got me in trouble and do the same stupid things that was holding me back in the first place. And I could never sit still at home. You know, I could never just stay at home and hang out at the house or watch a movie or play a game no more, because I was already hooked, you know. And so I just wanted to be around these people that were doing these drugs and substances. Every time I got out, I wanted to do the same thing. And it progressively just got worse and worse and worse, because I would be smarter in some ways, because I'd plan things out for months about how I'm going to do this and do that, and I'd get smarter in some ways, but then I'd get back right on the drugs and everything would just go haywire, you know. I'd be a month in, 2 months in, because I could never make it more than like 2 months. I'd go right back to jail. Within 48 days, 52 days, 64, 63 days, I'd go right back to jail every time. And yeah, man, it took me this last time, you know, and 3 years, entire 3 years, I had to just sit down. I don't necessarily believe I might have needed the entire 3 years, but I'm glad that I did it. You know, I don't wear it like a stripe. You know, some people go to prison and they think they're like this gangster. They think they're cool. I don't even really talk about it with people. Usually it's just my tattoos. You know, people see my tattoos and stuff, and, you know, oh, you got that in prison, and that's how that comes along. And I just don't think, you know. I know in another video I said everyone should go do a bid or join the military. That, you know, that's just structure. That's just adding structure and discipline into your life. But if you can avoid going to prison, hey, man, it's just simple rules you got to follow. I've only had drug charges, so if I knew if I eliminated the drugs out of my life, you know, as a kid I had a couple stupid charges. I had like a shoplifting charge when I was like 13, you know, but as an adult, I've only had drug charges, so I knew if I eliminated the drugs out of my life, then how am I going to get a drug charge, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind. And willpower, you got to have willpower, because once you introduce your brain to these substances and you introduce your brain to them, it's hard to live life without them, you know? But eventually you will recover. You just have to take things one day at a time, but you will recover. And that's all, you know? I know my life's better off without that stuff now. I don't got to worry about nothing. I don't got to sleep looking over my shoulder or wondering, am I going to go to jail tomorrow? I don't think like that no more. And then we're doing more drugs, so we don't think like that, you know? It's not a way to live. It's not cool. So we're going to end this video up about 40 minutes in. So y'all have a good night, chat. Thank you for stopping in. And thank you, everyone, for commenting.